Today, EA Sports just dropped their 20-minute long gameplay reveal. They had Donovan Edwards, the cover athlete, and the Michigan Wolverine running back facing off against Bordeaux, a popular YouTuber, in a head-to-head battle. There were a lot of things that we took away from this, but if you haven't watched the full video yet, I highly recommend heading over to EA's page and doing that. We are going to take more of a deep dive, kind of a breakdown frame by frame of the video, so if you haven't watched it, it'll be good if you have a base knowledge there. Before you leave, let me know in the comments what you all took away from this, whether it was good or bad. I would love to hear your thoughts. I hope you all enjoyed today's video, so let's get into it. One of the first things they want to cover here is the newest off-frame passes, or the red zone passing. They kind of point out here that you can see that the blue is a good pass, yellow is a medium okay pass, and then red is a bad pass. Let me rephrase that. It's not necessarily a bad pass, it's just an off-frame pass is what they're calling it, which just means that when you throw it, it's not going to be right in that perfect area for them to catch. It'll be behind them, might be a little bit above them, down below, whatever it is. It's going to make them come off the route a little bit to be able to catch the pass. Jumping a little bit further ahead, we have the wear and tear screen on the player highlight. You can see here on the player highlight, they have the wear and tear on the left-hand side, so it's 5 different bars. And this is just going to show you the, how did he put it, the single body part that is the most damaged. So if you have a right shoulder that is really damaged, you're going to see it down here in the orange or red. But if you have a knee that's also really damaged, you might not see it because it's not going to be the worst one damaged. So whatever is the worst damaged body part will be shown here. And then on the right hand side, you have the fatigue. Moving on to this next bit, they talk about wear and tear and how it impacts each player. So you can see here on Quinn, you have top impact. So you have his right shoulder, like I just mentioned, which is -6, -6, -2. I'm not sure what, no, that's medium accuracy. So your right shoulder is going to be slightly injured, which is, slightly here on the yellow, high, and then severe. Slightly hurt is going to be a reduction to his pass accuracy, his throw power, and his carrying. So that's going to affect different players differently. So on the defense, you might, not be able to get as big of hits. So power moves or something like that will be damaged as well, or they'll be the stats will be reduced as well. Shown here, you can see the option play, and he pitches it to the running back, and he takes off and runs. But here they showcase kind of what the different style of pitches are. You have 3 different style of pitches. You're going to have your short pitch, or soft pitch, or quick pitch is what they call it. Their strong pitch, and then your fake pitch. You can do these all by the same buttons, LB or L1. You either tap it, hold it, or double tap it to get each one of those different abilities. So quick pitch is going to be something that's kind of soft and light. It might not be exactly to where you want it to go, and it's not going to get there quickly. It's going to be kind of slow. Strong pitch is going to get there quick. It's going to be perfect, but it's going to take a little longer to get out of your hand. So if you're about to get tackled, you don't want to use it. And then your fake pitch is going to be able to, fake players out. And they really went into how they want to use the fake pitch and fake pass. It actually wants to affect the defensive players and stuff like that. Next up, we have the cover shell. So here, Bordeaux uses a cover shell. You can see that he has a show 3 or show 2, so cover 2 or cover 3, and the defenders will kind of switch around to kind of showcase, oh, we're switching to a cover 2, man 2 or whatever it is. But in actuality, you're playing a cover 3. You can do this not only in the screen, which is replacing baseline, you can actually do it beforehand in the actual gameplay or the play selection, and they'll showcase it here in a moment. So here they showcase as well. You can see they're going to highlight it here in a second. You can see audibles, and then you have the shell. So there's like 5 or 6 different shells. You have cover 6, cover 4, cover 3, cover 2, cover 0, show blitz, all this different stuff you can do before you even get into the game. So if you're not that great at switching it really quickly, they gave you the ability to use it here as well. They're not going to let you, not use it because you can't switch it fast enough. Next up, they talk about celebrations. The celebrations are going to be something they really do, like they really put a lot of time in. I think there's up to like 20 different ones. You can see here the generic ones are just the flip of the stick direction, but you have different ones that are L2 plus the direction, L1 plus direction, R2 plus direction, and then R1 plus direction. So there's 4 different directions, then plus 5 different iterations you can do. I'm sure EA will try to monetize this at some point, but honestly, this is a very cool thing to just even see that they added so many different things. They have the Heisman pose, they have the wave goodbye, I don't even know what the head swag is, strike a pose. I think that's the Heisman pose, ice my vein stuff. So all this stuff is pretty cool, and just adds that little extra layer of immersion, because all these players celebrate nowadays. They're all going crazy in the end zone when they score a touchdown, stuff like that. They also, I'll show you case down at the bottom, they also have ones for interceptions, and they also have one for, what was the other one they had, first downs and stuff. So you have the first down, when you get up, you're going to throw your arm first down and stuff like that. The signal is what I'm sure that's what they're calling them. But this is really cool to see, just like quick stuff, just add a little bit of layer of extra immersion. So you can see coming up here, they talk about the hurry up. So there's like two different styles of hurry ups. So you have the hurry up here, they have the turbo, and then there's just the regular. The turbo will get you even to the line even quicker, but the regular is just going to get you like, you know, normal, you know, 10, 15 seconds, whatever, rather than, you know, the 25, 30 you're going to take. Turbo is going to get there absolutely just fast as crap. They're going to get you there quick, and you're going to be able to throw the defenses off a little bit, and they're not going to be prepared for the play. So you're going to be able to do this, but I'm sure it's going to take a big hit on your wear and tear because you're not going to get that rest. So you can see here, turbo play. Your audible now is going to be, not audible, is going to be check the sideline. So that's when you get your audible screen, I'm sure. But yeah, the turbo play is going to be your fastest version of huddle or no huddle, and then there's going to just be a regular no huddle. The turbo play will have the ability, like I just mentioned, to throw the defenses off. I think they showcase that here in a second. But you can see here the defender was not ready, and then 3 seconds after the play started, he kind of got into position. So all of your players are going to have, maybe not all of them, but the players that are getting defended by them will have a 3-second jump on a defender. So you can see here number 8, the I'm assuming tight end or the slot guy, was able to get up and already start a curl move before this guy was even prepared to defend him. So he's going to have an open, easy play right there. Coming up next, they showcase the field general in use right here. So you can see, you saw the big old triangle with the exclamation points, and it just kind of shows a pre-snap blitzer. So this is the gold level. There's different levels for all of them, but you can kind of see how they show that they're going to blitz, and they are blitzing. So they also go into detail and talk about how it's not only going to work, or it's never always going to work. There's going to be times where it doesn't work. So if they mention, if you're behind the chain, so you know, more than 10 yards behind the line of scrimmage, or not the line of scrimmage, the first down line, then they're going to have the ability not really work for you. Depends on the environment that you're in. If the crowd's just too noisy and your player just doesn't have that much composure, it's not going to work. So like composure and then where you are in the field is going to really affect how the different abilities work. Given field general is a little different, stuff like takeoff where you just get off the line quicker, that may not be affected, but the stuff where you have to kind of use your brain and be able to visualize stuff, or just composure stuff, it's really going to be affected by the opposing crowd. Here, Donovan Edwards is going to take himself out as a joke, but we get a good insight in a couple things. So you have different tendencies for players. So you can see here the quarterback is a scrambler. There's going to be pocket passes. There's going to be different stuff like all around the board. And they really kind of go into how the archetypes run. The archetypes will only be able to obtain certain abilities. So if you're a speed running back, you're going to be able to obtain takeoff from the line, but as a power back, you're not going to be able to. And they show the stats here for different players. We probably review this at a later point, but you can see another thing they showcase here in a second. I think they come back to, yeah. So you can see here Donovan Edwards has been hitting up all game. He's been getting beat up in the backfield. You can see he's going to take a little bit of reduction. So his speed down here is -7. I'm not sure if, I think his base is 92, and then this is what he's actually performing at. So his base is 92, so talk about fast. He's going to be insanely fast, but his speed throughout, this is towards the end of the game. I think there's 6 seconds left in the game, and they played 3-minute quarters. So I don't know if they adapt it to where the longer the quarters, the more you take more damage throughout the game, or you take less because it's a longer game. I'm not sure how they do that. But here he is, he's taking a -7, -2, -8 in agility, which is interesting, -11 in break tackle. So that is it's gonna really severely hurt you, and he's not even hurt. So like, this is probably, you know, midway, or even just probably to a little bit below midway reduction. So if you're seeing a really, really far reduction, you're gonna see stuff like -10, -15, even probably -20 on some guys. The other thing I wanted to point out is the power back. So you have elusive back and power back. I'm not sure if there's a third one, receiving back. So there's 3 different ones for running back. I think there's 3 different ones for every position. Maybe there's 3 for the skill positions and 2 for others, because I think it'd be kind of hard to come up with 3 for linemen or stuff like that. But so you have here a fullback has blocking, but you have for running back speed or elusive, receiving, and then power backs. Here's a post-game screen. It's kind of pretty cool. They go through all different stuff. They're celebrating stuff like that. And you can see here that the player of the game is sponsored by Discover. So we have 2 sponsors in this game currently that we know of, is Discover, and then Allstate's going to be like the full game sponsor. No ESPN like they've mentioned before, but they have brought in different sponsorships. They've mentioned that they're going to try to bring ESPN next year, but they just weren't able to work it out this year. So hopefully we see that in the coming years. Another thing they showcase in this game is like the inaccurate pass. So this is the red bar pass. So you can see here it's way behind him. He has to stop, grab it at his knees. Another one here is the tight end. He has to stop and turn around and spin to make the catch, which is really cool animation and stuff, but it just really showcases how passing is going to be really important. Passing accurately is going to be really important, and your quarterbacks are going to be kind of give you Your quarterbacks will give you more space to allow you to be better passes. So if your guy's really inaccurate, his red bar is going to be very, very large, whereas a good quarterback is going to have a very, very small one, so you're not going to be hitting that as much. Another thing coming up is the speed of the game. The speed of the game is absolutely insane. You can see here he takes off. I timed this, and it's pretty basic timing, but I timed it to cross the 20-yard line. Given he's running at full speed, so it's a little different, but he's running across the 20-yard line and runs all the way to the end zone. So that's 60 feet. He ran it in like 2.15 seconds. So that's about 30 feet per second, which Usain Bolt's top speed is 27. So I don't think these guys are faster than Usain Bolt, but it's very interesting how fast the game is. And I'm sure there's a slider to affect how fast the game is, but on this specific build, they built the game really, really fast. So I hope we're not playing that full time. I would really hate to see that the speed of the game is making players faster than the fastest man on the planet. Coming up here, we get a glimpse at the play create screen of the advanced game stuff. So you can see here your players selection screen, which is nice. So you can edit the uniform, skill level, team settings and stuff. They have, you know, your current full jersey selection, blue helmet, white jersey, pants, socks, and cleats, similar to a lot of the old games and stuff like that. But then coming up from there, they have a different the advanced game ability. So you have the ability to affect what type event it is. So exhibition here, but then you have your broadcast team. So you can select between broadcast teams before you can game. I'm not sure if the Dynasty will be like that, since they mentioned that big games are specifically going to be Chris Fowler and Kirk Herbstreit, and then the other team is going to be Reese Davis, Jesse Palmer, and David Pollock. So I'm not sure if you'll have the ability to select there. Even teams, I'm not exactly sure. Oh, they skipped over that one, but I'm assuming even teams makes the overalls the same, so everybody will be rated 99 or whatever it is, so it makes the games more even. Quarter length, accelerated clock, so you can toggle that on or off. Play clock for time remaining, so this is when you come out of a play, how much time's left. So this is just expedite games for you. Where you're playing at, they have this toggled off for now. You can't really select that ability. Time of the day, and then weather. So weather is going to be really interesting. They mention it later on in the thing, but I'll mention it here. Weather is going to affect how you play. So if it's snowy, if it's raining, if it's cold or whatever, it's going to affect the player. So if it's snowing or if it's raining and the ball's wet, the quarterback's not going to be able to throw the ball as accurately, or catches aren't going to be able to make, or there's going to be more fumbles. So that's really interesting to see how they built that into the game, and it's not something you have to kind of just imagine doesn't happen. I'm really, really excited to see about that. So here, I know the sound's off, but they go through and talk about the different realism stuff that they did. I mean, we've been over this a few times now, but they have talked about how they really dove into the realism. And I mean, they have a player that's actually played at Penn State, and he's speaking here. This is why I told y'all to watch the video, but he's speaking here about how realistic it actually is and like how closely it resembles. Obviously, this is a video game, but he talks about how the sounds, the actual expressions, what they're singing, what kind of happens when stuff happens. So like on the first down stuff, they always play the Tiger Roar, and then he's talking about how that happens in the game and stuff like that. So that's really, really cool to see. And then moving on here, we have the different player thing. So you have a little line about where the players are supposed to be covering who and when. And there'll also be different stuff where you can kind of see where your man's supposed to be in a cover zone. I'm not sure if that is something that the field general gives you, or if that's just you as a player, you can see where you're supposed to be and kind of manage that area. They also showcase the custom stems here about how you can change different heights and lengths and stuff. So you can have the curling go out to 50 yards if you want, apparently. And different stuff like that. And Donovan Edwards gets a pick 6 right here, absolutely beating Bordeaux up in the game. So we can see Donovan Edwards and Nicholas Singleton. This is a matchup they're talking about in the game. Running back comparison, you can see their overall. So both 91, speeds are a little different. Ball carrying visibility is also not even slightly, pretty different. And then break tackle is also pretty different as well. And this is kind of just shows you, this is one of the things they've spoke on how they want to get people immersed, is they want to show you kind of what your competition looks like, what your players look like, and just kind of comparison them, so you can be like, oh man, their running back's really, really good, I need to pay attention to him and stuff like that. They also spoke about abilities. So for the top 100 players, so I'm assuming both Donovan Edwards and Nicholas Singleton was in this, they talked about how they gave each player specific abilities. So a lot of them, I'm sure, were based off ratings and stuff like that, but for the top 100 players, they made sure that they got the specific abilities that most pertain to them. So the one they speak about in this clip is Donovan Edwards having Road Dog. He plays really, really well on the road, and they really want to kind of showcase that in the game, so they gave him that ability. Coming up here, they showcase the red bar in real time. So you can see here he spun around and had to make that catch. And obviously these guys are really, really good. These are like the best players in the country. They're playing Michigan and Penn State. They're both rated in the top 10. So they're all these guys are making these catches, but they really want to emphasize that like this is not going to be the case all the time. When it's raining, again, snowing, you're not going to be making those catches. So it's going to be really, really important to throw the ball in the blue zone. The yellow zone's probably not that bad. It'll still hit him mostly in stride, but the blue zone's going to hit him in the stride pretty much every single time, and that's really where you want to be. So coming up here, they talk about the kicking meter, and they want to talk about how like college kickers miss all the time. They want to be realistic. You see here, he was a little bit inaccurate, and then he hit the red meter, which made it go really far left. So you can see a replay here. It's green, it's green, it's probably going to go the right direction. But they really just want to showcase how difficult it is. And something Bordeaux mentions in his gameplay clip, we might show some clips, I'm not sure yet, but if you haven't, go check out that. He shows a little bit more in-depth stuff, but he talks about how you're supposed to hold it down while you tap it to get the accuracy bar in the middle, and then you hold it down to keep the power going. So it's going to be pretty difficult, because typically it's a tap, or it's just a tap, one tap and stuff like that, or it's a directional thing and you tap. But this one, you tap to get the accuracy, you got to keep holding to get the power. So it'll be really interesting to see how that plays. And then coming up here, you have the pump fake. Oh no, not pump fakes, sorry. Or no, this is a pump fake. So you have pump fake, he pump faked the defender, and then he threw him off. So the defender jumped at it and then gave him a little bit of extra space to make the pass. Next up, they wanted to showcase wear and tear on how it affects in-game performance. So you can see here, he threw the ball a little too high. It was a good pass, but he still threw it a little too high, and it was off target. So you see the blue, but it was still off target because he had a little bit more wear and tear than he probably should have trying to make that pass. And then here they talk about the healing stages. They have 3 different ones: per play, per quarter, halftime, and then if you're in dynasty mode, week to week. So they don't mention timeouts. I'm sure timeouts will affect it, but they didn't mention here, so that'll probably be something, you know, per play or something. But players will recuperate their wear and tear, and they'll regain a little bit of that every single time you're done with the play, every single time they sit out, every quarter, every halftime. So they mentioned halftime is probably going to be your biggest bang to buck reward there. So with that, that is the end of the video. I appreciate y'all staying around and tuning in and stuff, guys. I appreciate it a lot. You can also see here Bordeaux got absolutely blown out, but I appreciate y'all tuning in. This is just a pretty quick glimpse. I'm not going to do any fancy editing or stuff. It's going to quick glimpse to get y'all a quick overview of it, but I appreciate y'all tuning in. I hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next one.